Hey guys, what's going on? Sincere from whoissincere.com. Listen, coming to you real quick with a story. I was watching one of my favorite channels on YouTube, Dabu7. If you don't know who Dabu7 is, just take a peek right here. This guy, and make sure you check him out. He is definitely he's on point. He has a lot of great information. So getting into it, I noticed that out in Baltimore, they just had an incident at one of the news stations where a guy named Vladimir Mehul Baptiste crashed into this news station with a stolen truck, and supposedly some, I guess Dabu7, he said he heard that there may have been weapons involved. I'm seeing reports saying, massive reports, the mimic reports that they all just replicate each other, saying that, they say the same thing, that there were no weapons involved, there was only a golf club. I don't understand the meaning of the golf club. I'm really not sure about that. But what I do know is this guy crashes into a news station in Baltimore. There's claims that he's God, or that he's Jesus Christ, or he's claiming to be King Tut. So I want you guys to pay attention to how the media is portraying this situation. I want you guys to see that there is more to this situation. My buddy here, Dabu7, didn't really cover it all, and God bless him, he has great information. But I'm telling you, you have to look a little bit further here. We have to look a little bit deeper. I'm gonna take you on a little journey real quick. I went ahead and looked up the guy's middle name, Vladimir Mehul Baptiste, and just saw that it was from French origins. Now, that really didn't have any kind of, significant bearing to me, so I went and took a little search and said, okay, what's going on in the world? What do we have with, is there any kind of French terrorists, any kind of French extremism? What I'm noticing is that 5 days ago, Fox News reported the French government says 2 French people have been arrested in Yemen, apparently suspected of extremist activity. Now, it's a far stretch for me to say that this guy with a French middle name, is a part of jihad because of these other 2 French guys, in Yemen. That's a hard comparison to really draw. So I said, okay, it at least piqued my interest to look into it a little bit more. 5 days ago, and you have this other situation happen, also recently, a few days ago. So I said, let me look into it a little bit more. I was able to find his Facebook page. Now, anyone that knows anything about anything online knows that this is where you want to come to find out information about people, if you want to find good information. So what I did is scroll down Vladimir's page, and just to begin piecing together what kind of person he is. I see that he's friends with a guy by the name of Jean-Patrick Baptiste. Now, I did a further research on Jean-Patrick Baptiste. That's his cousin, who just became a Freemason. Or I don't know if he just became a Freemason, but here he's, pictured, I believe, it looks like some kind of a ceremony. I'm not sure. I'm not a Freemason. Always have wanted to become one. I won't lie about that. I have family that are Freemasons. I know what they say about Freemasons, but I know what happens in the lower levels of Freemasonry, and I know what happens in the upper levels and beyond Freemasonry. There's so much more beyond Freemasonry, but a lot of times these guys get the backlash right here of a lot of bad events. I'm not going to say that there is not any kind of connection. I am going to say that there is a possible connection. Everyone knows that Freemasonry is at least the beginning of the world structure of how it's ran. Behind the scenes, if you're just taking one step behind the curtain. Now there's many levels above Freemasonry as well, but if you're going to have any kind of holding in a back office of running anything dealing with political or religious or economic affairs in society of a power position, you're going to have Freemasonry as your beginning stepping stone. So there is a negative connotation that happens with Freemasonry and people, associated with it based on that. So we see that his cousin is heavily um, associated with it because he is one. Um, Now, what I noticed that was very interesting was Vladimir's speech on his page and how he talks and what he stands for and represents. He does seem like someone that's actually kind of a loving guy and like he loves his family. He strikes me though as someone who is not crazy, someone who has perhaps an extremist belief, I'll just say. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know this guy from a can of paint, but just judging, based on his wall and based on reading some of the things on his wall, I can see how he even writes, how a lot of the people in Masonry talk when they're on social media. They'll talk to what it seems normal to, you and I, abnormal to you and I. It's cryptic language. They talk amongst themselves. So, one of the sentences here, he says, for some of you squares reading this. And he's, if you read actually the context of what this means, you can begin to decipher that he probably has some kind of relation with the same organization that his cousin here, what's his name, Jean-Patrick Baptiste, has as well. So that began, to pique my interest a little bit. What's going on with the masonry pattern here? I'm starting to see something here with this young man who just created this incident that supposedly, as the news articles say, he's been experimenting with drugs and he's just out there and he's doing crazy things, and none of these things were true. Excuse me, I apologize. I actually have a little bit of a cold right now, but I have to get this information out. So, the media is painting one picture and saying, hey, this guy, he's just a normal crazy guy. He's just going crazy and he ran into a building. And I'm putting together a picture of who this guy really is with no one in the media, news reporters, people that are news reporters. They're not reporting on what's going on. They're not reporting on who this guy is, and his Facebook is right here for us to see. So if you scroll down his Facebook, I mean, this is public. Everybody can go to it. I'll make sure I leave his link, in the description here. It is public information. That little globe means public right there. So I'm not doing anything wrong by sharing this. This is information for everyone to see. He set it up like this, not me. So if you go on to reading the information, I thought that this little paragraph here was a little bit interesting. And I'll go ahead and read a little bit of it. Okay, here you go. Gratitude for the day, and thought I'd share this. I'm reminiscing about the first time I moved to the U.S., going to school here in the United Nations. I got the chance to experience how we are/were all nation intermingling under one roof, from different aspects of life and background. We all were in the same homeroom. We came from the countries of El Salvador, Mexico, Argentina, Hungary, Spain, Venezuela, Paraguay, I probably said that wrong, Panama, Ghana, Nigeria, Congo, Liberia, I don't know that one, India, Egypt, Kuwait, Sweden, Romania, Chile, you get the point, and others that I may have missed. We all got along. We never fought while we were learning to adapt to a brand new, different culture than ours. It was mostly about sharing our different vintage point of view and culture. We all were happy, thought fondly of each other, and with immense enthusiasm challenged each other on what we've learned from cross-referencing our cultural experiences. Also, constructively shared our background stories. We loved the cultural parties that celebrated our cuisines, dance, and language. All gave me shelter at their homes when I was too drunk to drive home. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. True story. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but if the guy lives in Baltimore, Maryland, I don't know what school he went to that provided all of this. And that's hashtag true story. I mean, that sounds like a very interesting place, especially, I mean, when you couple in the fact of the we love the cultural parties that celebrated our cuisines, dances, and language. I don't know what kind of cultural parties do that anymore at schools or anything. So I don't know where this guy went to school at, but I'm sure there's more to the story that we are not getting. Something more is going on to this story. Now, I noticed also going through, down his Facebook. Like I said, this is all public information. This is all information anyone else can just go on here and take a look at. Um, I I noticed, just different things that of where this person may be spiritually or religiously, and eh, he does believe that there is a God. I'm not going to say that he believes in the thought of Jesus Christ as like the birth, the death, and the resurrection, as all of us Christians do believe in Jesus Christ. He has a very distorted view of things and of the world. So he posts things about a true God. He doesn't say what the true God is or any any kind of savior or intermediary that normal religions would have for their God of whatever the culture is. He just refers to the true God. Now, in the media reports, they say that, and I'll take you over here to the media reports real quick to get off this page for a second. In the media reports now, they give a whole different depiction of the situation. Let me read to you here what they say he says. Okay. Now let's go to another one here. It gives a little bit more. Okay, here we go. According to the charging documents, detectives discovered several notes Baptiste had written inside the station. One document read, "Everything is unfolding and I don't have to do anything. Signed, Love, Vladimir." Court documents show that Baptiste told detectives he is the reincarnation of King Tut and Jesus Christ and lives in a world of multiverses where bad things happen to people and they disappear because they are not real. Okay, now that sounds a little bit crazy. It really does sound a little bit crazy. But you have to also go down and read a little bit further. Now, like I said, this guy, he says things about Christians and he speaks crazy. And he on his Facebook, he seems like he believes in God, but it seems slanted a little bit. So, like I said, there's a belief in a God. We don't know what God, dare I say what God, but I believe he believes in. But there is a belief in a God. It's not the Christian God. It's not in a Christian aspect. There's something else that this man believes in, but it's in a God. So it, he he his motivation for his very action was based on his beliefs. And I'm going to show you why I believe so. Normal, even crazy people that do things like that, they're going to remain a little bit crazy. But he's sticking to his guns and he seems to be calm. And it says here, but Vladimir Baptiste later seemed calmed and even bored during the standoff, posting a tweet saying, "Chilling at ABC2 News, waiting and yawning." I mean, does that even sound correct? He's holding a golf club when he was arrested. A golf club. The most chill sport ever. He's holding a golf club, not a baseball bat, not a gun, not a knife, not a sword, not anything else, not a bomb, a golf club. I'm just going to say this. If this man in any kind of way is linked to terrorism, I'm going to let you know firsthand, and I'm going to break it myself and say that what he did was not to hurt anybody. Like he said, what he did was to let a signal off. I do not know who he was signaling or what he was signaling, but he was letting a signal off. Now, I think it's mighty funny that this same person here, like I said, we have the connections to Freemasonry. And I'm trying to get all of this stuff out at one time, so you got to excuse me if I'm a little bit over the place. But his mother, which is also listed in the articles, Vladimir Baptiste, I was, went down her Facebook page too. Hey, look, that's what you got to do as a reporter. You got to do investigative work. I don't mean to put this lady in front of thousands of people's faces, but the news media has already done that for us by putting her in these articles here. So, at the end of the day, please believe I'm going to use whatever resources are available to me to expose the truth. So you go to his mother's page and we see that one of her recent likes is this place here, Freemasonry. Now, this is some kind of lodge, I guess, that's being rebuilt or that is built somewhere. I did actually open it up here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, I had it. Where's it at? We'll get to all that. Oh, there it is. Now this lodge that's right here, it looks like it's being rebuilt here from the way that I'm looking at it. So she likes it, and there's not too many other people that do. There's only 22 likes actually on the page. You go down the page and you see that there's something here, that was put up by the page. I don't know, by another page that's on here. So I actually did open up this page too. Actually, I have a friend that's a Freemason, that's a friend of this page. Um, now I'm looking at this here, and I'm like, all right, well, this is all connected into Freemasonry. I actually opened up the website too. You guys, I'm going to leave the link in the descriptions here. I'm not going to go through all of this. This is not something I'm not going to get into very much. I'm just showing you the links. I'm showing you the connections. And I'm showing you what's going on. So I will leave the links for you so they can actually, like I said, do the research for yourselves. Don't rely on what I'm telling you. Don't, just watch this video and say, oh, okay, well, he's right about it. He knows what he's talking about. Do the research for yourself. I'm going to leave the links there for you. Now, all of this, there's so many links back to high powerful people, not to say high powerful people, but people that are behind the curtain of operations, as I like to call it. Now, if his mother is, vested in the knowledge of something about Freemasonry, I mean, she only has 4 likes. There's only 4 likes that are actually listened. I don't know what that is. Actually, I just saw that. So let me see what that is. Let's open it up. First time we're going to open it up together in the video. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Actually, I'm going to do a search for it right now, guys. You're going to have to bear with me while I do the search. Actually, let's get out of here. We'll close that up. Go here and do it. Alright, let's do it like this here real quick. U.S. Agency of International Development. Very interesting. Okay, so you guys just saw it with me. So she has interest in Freemasonry and also an interest in the Agency for International Development. That's very odd. So here we have another connection to Freemasonry and to obviously a government entity now. Um, that's a pretty right there because now I'm about to move on to the next connection. If you look through Vladimir's friends list and you look through what's covering, I mean, a little bit about this guy, you'll find his languages, multiple languages. He's no dummy. You'll see where his college is, Haiti. Okay. Now I'll have you know also in Haiti, the government list. Yes, here you go. The government actually listed last year a travel warning for Haiti. The travel warning pretty much detailed the fact that people were getting kidnapped in Haiti. So they have to, like it says, hundreds of thousands of citizens visit there safely every year. But before they had put certain programs in place, people were literally wandering outside of the quote unquote safe zones and were getting kidnapped, never to be heard from again. Now, you're not going to see this in American television because it prevents problems economically for tourism. People slow down travel. It slows down the dollar. So, the lives don't matter as much when you have the dollar to be concerned about. But this is what's going on when, we have people that travel internationally that just don't know any better. They get kidnapped. They get taken advantage of. The same predators we have in the United States, we have in other countries, and it's even worse because we have no law or no way to actually get our people back, and most of the time our own country won't fight for us. So as you see, Haiti is a place where they've been, you know they're it's a beautiful place, I'm sure, to visit and to have you know a great time at, but it's also a place of concern. We'll just say a place of concern. All right. Now, you see that this is where he's from, and if you go back to the actual warning, it's actually a part of it is a high region of what was going on is from that area, or the surrounding area. Now, like I said, you have the languages. This is a pretty smart guy. You have some of his photos there. You see some of the music he listens to, and I mean, you guys could go through all of this. But what I wanted to see is what his friend correlation was, and this was a blaring, obvious one directly right away was the masonry symbol of his buddy there. But then I noticed that there was another guy that's following. Let me see, followers. That's following him. Okay. Now I look at this and I say, all right, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. This guy is following the guy that just claimed to be God and, run into a news station and all this kind of stuff. So if I go into this guy's profile, actually, we already have it open. I don't even want to open it again. If I go into this guy's profile, it gives me a good look into how he thinks and who he is as well, too. I'm not going to go through this. I'm going to let you guys read Francois Colline. I don't know who he is at all, but like I said, this is all public information. I'm not doing anything wrong by going through and showing you a chain of events and correlating them to a national event that just took place. Now, this is someone that's following the person that just had this national event. So I did a little study, since he said he studied at the Dachau concentration camp at Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I said, okay, well, what's this Dachau concentration camp? And I did a little research on that. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Well, you know what? If I can't pull it up, that's fine, because I'll pull it up right here and show you guys. I mean, you guys, you can't get any stranger than this information, and I'll just show you. All right. The Dachau concentration camp was the first of the Nazi concentration camps opened in Germany intended to hold political prisoners. And here you see the bodies piled up. These are the friends that are following Vladimir, former missionary at God. These are the people that have probably a little bit of different ideology than me and you as normal Christians. Not to say that everyone watching this is a Christian, but America primarily is a Christian-based society, or was supposed to be. Not sure if it quite is anymore, but I'd like to still believe it is in some forms. Um, this is these are the kinds of people though that are following this guy. Now, further looking, there's another guy, Richard Anderson here. I don't know who Richard Anderson is. All I know is that he's the national sales manager for a company called Tulip Clothing. They seem to do actually pretty well. Um, as you can see, they have representatives in different areas. So they look like their bases are covered pretty well. Now, this pretty, I'd say, not super powerful guy, but influential figure, an influential guy. Um, this lady that he's with, her name is Rai Rai. She is I don't know if he manages her, if he dates her. I'm not sure what the situation is here. I don't know what's going on here, but what I do know is he's in a couple pictures with her, and in the pictures, they're at performances and stuff like that. I would say this is probably more of a management kind of situation, it looks like. And she's an upcoming pop star. She's behind the scenes as well, and she has an amazing upcoming career behind the scene right now. And he seems to maybe have a hand in that, as well as being the national sales manager for Tulip Clothing. And for some odd reason, he follows our friend Vladimir Baptiste. Now, I don't know why these guys would be following Vladimir. That's all I'm going to, leave out there. I'm going to just put the information out there, and I'm going to let you guys start to help me dissect it. I don't have enough time to do it. All I'm getting is masonry connections that lead back to Haiti and France, and that's pretty much it. Also, here, let me give you another little thing here. This is going to, just add a little bit more to it, just so you can see the depth of what we're looking at, in case you're not convinced that there's any connections here that are going on, or that this guy doesn't think a little bit different. I'm gonna convince you right now that what you noticed, or what you see in the news, is a complete lie. That this should be labeled as a terrorist activity, that this event was a signaling event for things to come. This man was not distraught in any kind of way. He did not try to hurt anybody, but he hit a news station so as to get national coverage. And he knew that he wasn't going to hurt anybody, but to get national coverage, I'm going to show you. Let's go back to it. To get national coverage, and then he just seemed calm and even bored during the standoff. Do you understand what's going on here, people? This is a very possible terrorist-linked event because of the extremist beliefs. If there are extremist beliefs, we don't know exactly what the belief of this man is. He believes that there is a God. He believes that there are wrongdoers. If you go through his Facebook, he appears to be, I don't know what's going on in this situation. I'm not going to put out more than I can actually bite off. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say, actually. I'm just going to hold that. He appears to be a very confused person. He appears to be a passionate person because he's an artist. I mean, he does amazing artwork. I'll let you guys, go through his photos and check them out. This guy does really good artwork, and he looks like he was on a great place in art. He was also going to school to become an x-ray technician. He's not a dumb guy. So he's well grounded in his disciplines as far as working is concerned, going to school is concerned, and you know, living pretty much what would consider a normal life. He doesn't appear to have hardly any friends, just to be honest with you. There's no likes on his Facebook post. There's very, 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 very minimal interaction, although there are postings. Um, you know, this definitely signifies somebody that doesn't connect, you know, well with real world people all the time and doesn't have a big social circle. So he's probably introverted in a way, which also can, you know, it doesn't have to harbor extremist ideas. I'm an introverted person. I'm no way an extremist, but you know, normally extremist ideas can fester and be harbored in the type of people that are introverted and not be detected because they're introverted and no one will be able to see them, especially when you only have a virtual representation of that person to be able to look at. He'll post a picture of his family or, you know, his friends and stuff like that, but you'll notice that there's not many friends at all in these pictures. There's just kind of his family or himself or his music or his ideology, and that normally is a telltale sign, even down to the graphic in the wall back here, a telltale sign of where a person's mind is. I want to go down to a section on this page that I think is pretty important. Like I said, what I'm about to show is going to completely convince you that there's more than meets the eye here. There's more that's going on, that this is not a normal person that we're looking at here in Vladimir. There are more connections to the situation. I actually have two things to expose to you. All right, here you go. My heart/prayers goes out to you and your people. Victoria, I won't attempt to say her last name because I don't want to mess it up. But her last name is of Ukrainian descent. Ukrainian descent, guys. This is the guy that just ran into the news station. Okay, this is breaking news. This is not on anyone's channel. Dabu7 doesn't have this. My other guy that I like watching, Pastor Paul Bagley, he doesn't have this yet. I'm telling you this because I'm doing the research myself and you're watching it. Ukrainian, the same guy that just ran into the news station, linked to Masonry in different ways through his mother, through his cousin. It's in his family. Okay? We're going to get back to that in a second too. But here he has a reference to his hearts and prayers goes out to her and her people. Now that's a nice thing to say. It's a very nice thing to say. I did look on Vladimir's friends list. They are friends. I took a screenshot of that. If you look on her friends list, you won't be able to see her friends list. It doesn't show. But if you go to Vladimir's friends list, Facebook's algorithms are a little bit backwards. She can hide what she doesn't want you to see, but if you go to his friends list and you look at his friends, you can see that they are friends. I don't know what their connection is with each other. I'm not saying that it's a bad connection, but I'm saying that there is a Ukrainian connection with this individual that just ran a truck into a news station and seemed absolutely calm, as if to signal something. This was not done to hurt anybody. This was to signal something to the world or to a group. Okay, so let's go to who she is. Victoria, I'll just say Zag, I can't say it. Victoria Z is the person who owns Pixelink Studios here. And the logo in itself is just creepy. But they operate out of New York. They do things, obviously have business also in New Jersey, where I'm located at. I don't know, I've never heard of them, don't know much about them, but I did do a little bit of research and was able, you know, to bring up their Pixelink Studios right here and show that yes, it is in Staten Island, New York. Here we go. And I go to her page, and yes, she is from Kiev, Ukraine. Now, She could have been from anywhere in the world, and this guy could have known many people in life, okay? You guys could call this what you want, but this is not normal. I didn't even bother to read the comments. She said, "Thank you so much." Okay, so I I don't know much about it, but she said, "Thank you so much," and that was a nice thing. You know what I mean? But given the circumstances and what we're looking at right now, I wonder if she's worried about her friend that just rammed into a news station. Okay? So I don't know why no one took the time to do this research, but this is too easy, guys. We got to step it up a little bit. We got to step it up. Look, I'm at 35 minutes. I did not want to do a 35-minute thing on this, but as I kept clicking, as I kept looking, I said, I got to give it all to them. And then you can decide whatever you want and put it together. Okay? So, at the end of the day, there's more than enough links here to raise your eyebrows, to have you think of who this person really is. Vladimir Mehul Baptiste. And yes, it's nice that he wished her well. But we also see that what's going on in Ukraine right now. Come on, we have big business going on in Ukraine right now. Our vice president, our vice president's son just got named to be the head of some, or to join the heads of some oil company or some gas company that's out there, the biggest private owned gas company in Ukraine. And now we have a guy who's running into a news station who's connected with a lady who's from Kiev, Ukraine. And this guy seems like he's sending off a signal. Guys, something's happening. In the words of Paul Bagley, there's something biblical going on. There's prophecy going on in the land with everything that you see. You have to correlate these things. If your enemy is set up to understand complex, diverse systems, you have to set yourself up to be able to do the same thing. You have to have the same attributes as your enemy. Yes, you see a lot of tabs at the top of my screen, but I'm also set up to be able to understand everything that's placed before me and to put these links together and to deliver them to you. I want everyone else to take the time, get out of WorldStar, get off of these reality shows. Start looking up this information. This is interesting stuff. You're not going to read this in any news article on NBC, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, any of the big outlets. None of them. You're not going to get any masonry information showing you how Vladimir's mother is connected to the Mason lodges, his cousins are connected to the Masonry lodges, how he himself is connected to Masonry through the way that he talks. There's something going on. There's something that's being hidden from your eyes. You're not meant to see something. And if you just scratch the surface, you can begin to see it starts to crumble, that there's more. There's more to the truth than the pieces that you've been given. Okay? Now, not only do we have the situation where we have, our buddy here, well, not our buddy, but we have this guy here, Vladimir Baptiste, running into this news station and, in my opinion, sending off a signal to whoever worships the same God as him that now is the time. He talks about multiverses and whatever these dimensional things are that he talks about, but I know that those things are also connected. They have a root in Masonry. When you talk about multiverses and when you talk about astral projection and in this transcendence and this transhumanism movement, this has a lot of basis in what's going on and what the New World Order movement is. People have to wake up and see this. So where it may sound crazy, there are people that have belief systems based on these things. It's not crazy talk if it's coming from your religious system. Think about all the crazy things that we hear about in all the different religions across the planet. If you think about Masonry, even though it's not proclaimed to be a religion, you have your levels, your steps, your things that you learn through Masonry. What he's talking are terms that are based loosely on that. And it could be a possibility of another religion that I don't know about. I'm not sure what religion he is. I will say that. But I know that it is not Christian. Even if he says he's Jesus Christ, he also said he was King Tut. And he also said he was God. Or so the reports say. So you have to question these things. You have to start to ask yourself, what's going on? What's going on? What is the media really teaching me? What are they really showing me? They're not telling you the whole story. Okay? There's a lot of people that are running this country right now. His mother has a couple likes here that are significant for any mother to have. She doesn't appear to be, in that picture right there on her Facebook, she looks like that. But if you go to the news report and you look at her at her front door, oh man, tell me that I closed it. You look at her front door, she just looks like a distraught mother at the door. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that this happened. Now, I'm about to show you the second part that I said was going to blow the lid. She says that she can't believe that this happened. And she doesn't know what's going on. Okay? I'm going to tell you what her son says. Now, let me find this for you again, because I want you to actually get a chance to actually read the same thing that I read. I don't want to lose track here. Okay, hold on. He makes a shocking allegation against his own parents that I just thought was a little interesting, to say the least. All right. Now, the allegation, I'm actually just going to say what the allegation is ahead of time, before we actually find it. Now, the allegations that he makes, it was also why he was talking about the multiverses, but he was talking about the fact that he wanted to expose, yeah, here it is. He wanted to expose the multiverses because he believed that his parents are running the multiverses. Now, that may not seem significant. It may sound like more crazy talk. But like I said, if you start talking about multiverses and astral projection and all that stuff, that's the secret. Those are the dark secret arts. Those are the things that are talked about in the deep levels of Masonry and above. Those are the things that are not general knowledge. But if your family is rooted in that knowledge, that's kind of a general knowledge to you and a truth to you as a person. So whatever he felt like he was doing in this event, it was to signal something. To signal something of his reality. And if you think about his parents running these multiverses, I'm not saying that this is real stuff. I'm just telling you from the perspective of. If you think about his parents running these multiverses and you look at the evidence that's been stated so far, we see a family that's steeped in Masonry. Like I said, I have nothing against Masonry, nothing against it. But I know that that's the beginning of being behind the curtain. Because my thing is this: if you're behind the curtain and you're with the other entities that are behind the curtain, as I like to call it, what buttons are being pressed against the public? What's being done that we don't know? Even in the situation of Trayvon Martin, I'll bring it up. His daddy was a high-level Mason. As a matter of fact, in one of the photos, his dad looks eerily, shockingly, 100% like me. I put that on my whole life. We sit here and look at that picture in my household and wonder how that happened. I've never seen anyone look like me in my life. I'm a black guy with a big beard. And not to say there's not other guys that look like that, but to have the same facial structure as me, I have a unique facial structure, and he has it. I have a unique head too. He has that too. So, anyway, getting off topic, but we have these situations that are, happening around masonry and Masonic people that are involved in masonry, but they keep showing up in these national situations, these national events. Now, this guy is talking in cryptic language, and he's talking in a language like maybe he did lose it a little bit, but maybe he didn't, and maybe he knows something that we don't know. And if this is coming from the level of a terrorist event, and this has something to do that's steeped in his religion, or has something to do with his Masonic beliefs, if they're two different things, or if they're one and the same, then this is what could be fueling his reason for hitting this news station and receiving national coverage. And this isn't being covered by the media. But yet we're getting scares about a new virus that's the MERS virus or MERS virus. I don't know how to say it. The MERS, look it up. 2 cases, one in Florida, the other one in Chicago, I believe. So in Indiana, I'll just say. Now, well, is it Indiana? I don't know where the MERS. It's either Indiana or Illinois. I'm sorry, but two cases so far that are going on right now, and I'm not saying that it's connected to this, but I'm saying we have a person that has possible connections to beliefs that we don't understand, or I don't understand yet, because it's not really stated on his page. He's a very mixed person. But it looks like a signaling. I'm putting up the red flag, and I'm telling you, it looks like a signaling of something. We have an epidemic headed our way. We have a guy who's supporting of the Ukrainian people, and we're supporting of the Ukrainian people too, but we don't know what side he's supporting. We don't know much about this guy, but we know that it looks shaky. There's more to the story. He is not a drugged up, out of work, crazy guy that just happened to run into, a news station because he was off of a bad trip. Do not believe that. Do not even begin to believe that for yourself. That would just be foolish. Take it for what it is, people. It is what it is. There's more to the story. Do your research. So I'm done. I'm not going to go into anything more. I'm not going to overtalk myself on this. I'm almost 50 minutes into this. I have got out everything that I have to say about this. I'm going to leave all my links like I do for all my videos. Check out my other YouTubes on my channel. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share. It helps out a lot. It helps to get the word out there. I'm a sound person. I'm a normal Army veteran that sits around and reads these news stories. I don't like reading the BS. I don't cater to the BS. I won't ever do it. I do my research, and I don't put out things unless I do research. But I just did this research. It took me literally an hour and a half to do the research, to really look through it, comb through it, maybe the last couple hours. And now I've spent an hour doing the video. I'm going to put it out. I'm going to let you guys know there's more to these stories, and I'm thinking that we're going to see many more events just like this. Many more events just like this. Those are my predictions, guys. This guy knew something that I don't think we quite know yet. I think we already knew, but I think he was signaling something that's to come. Protect yourselves, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, whoissincere.com. Also, check out the guys that I mentioned earlier, Dabu7. He has he's always putting up great information to try as best as he can to keep us all up to date as far as what's going on globally. We're not looking for just the information from America anymore, guys. This is a global situation. We have to take care of home. We have to take care of America. If no one, look, this isn't to make you guys afraid of anything. If we don't take care of home and start waking up and start coming together, then what is this all for? Why even do this documentary? Or not documentary, it's almost like a documentary. Why even do this film? Why even have any of these truth seekers out here? There wouldn't be any reason, but we're fighting because not for democracy, we're fighting for freedom itself. Spiritual freedom, economic freedom. We need freedom, and we're missing that. First of all, you may need to go over to Pastor Paul Bagley's site and get saved. Check up on his information if you need you can check out Dabu 7 if you want to check out the current events that are going to be based on the Word. Check out Pastor Paul Bagley. He has great information. I'm subscribed to his channel. I check him out. On a try to be I try to make it a daily basis. Sometimes a semi-daily basis. Check those guys out. Stay up to date. We need to band together and start to create that vibe and that environment that's going to help us to get out of this situation that we're in. We're in this situation not because they put us in this situation. That's only half of it. The other half is because we keep sleeping. Wake up, people. Dabu7 put this video out a little while ago. It's not been, long ago, but out of all the recent videos he put out, this had the least amount of views on it. It didn't even have 1,000 views. All of his videos, I mean, it doesn't take in, even 24 hours. All of his videos crack 1,000 views in 24 hours. Look at this video. The media has put out so much fake information about this and has covered it so much that no one has done the research. Wake up. Wake up. Again, this is Sincere from whoissincere.com. Like, subscribe, share. Get the information out there, guys. Thanks for watching.